Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 5th of October. Army awards major terror strike in Indian Kashmir, recovers explosives. Amnesty International urges European nations to halt Afghan refugee returns. And Nepali Congress forms full alliance with 5 other parties. And now for all the details. Indian security forces on Thursday averted a major terror strike in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. A combing and research operation was launched following suspicious movement in Akhnur area of the province.
Indian Army on Thursday claimed to have averted a major strike in Akhnur area of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. Security forces noticed suspicious movement close to an army unit in Akhnur on Wednesday night, following which the response mechanism was activated. A combing and search operation was initiated, during which the security forces recovered an improvised explosive device, 2 mines, a map of the province, and a few fake security badges, among other things.
देखिए हमें इन्फॉर्मेशन मॉर्निंग में मिली है कि शाम को आर्मी डॉग यूनिट है यहाँ पे जियापोता घाट के थोड़ी सी ऊपर चंडिया एरिया पड़ता है, तो वहाँ पर कुछ जब मूवमेंट देखी गई है तो उसके बाद मॉर्निंग में वो लोग तो चले गए हैं, बट उनका बैग और उसके बीच में एक रोप, नाइफ, फिर उसके साथ कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स हैं और एक नक्शा भी है JNK का.
The search operation comes 2 days after 4 militants from Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group were gunned down by security forces after they stormed a paramilitary camp in Srinagar city.
Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday said his government is committed to reverse the trend of declining economic growth rate. He said Indian economy was on firm footing and that he will never jeopardize the country's future for the present gains.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday said that Indian economy was on firm footing and that he will never jeopardize the country's future for the present gains. Coming down heavily on the critics of his economic policies, he said it is true that the country's economic growth has plunged in April to June period, but his government is trying to reverse it. He made the remarks while addressing the company secretaries at the inauguration of the Golden Jubilee year of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi said this was not the first time when the gross domestic product or GDP has fallen to 5.7%. India's GDP, which measures how fast the economy is growing, unexpectedly slid to a 3-year low in the last quarter.
साथियों, ये बात सही है कि पिछले 3 वर्षों में 7.5% की औसत ग्रोथ हासिल करने के बाद इस वर्ष अप्रैल जून की तिमाही में जीडीपी ग्रोथ में कमी दर्ज की गई है. हम इसका इनकार नहीं करते, लेकिन ये बात भी उतनी ही सही है कि सरकार इस ट्रेंड को रिवर्स करने के लिए पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध है, क्षमतावान है, हम फैसले लेने के लिए तैयार हैं.
Slamming critics over his government's demonetization move, he said it was after the cash squeeze move that the ratio of cash to GDP was reduced to 9%. Prime Minister Modi, in a surprise move in November last year, abolished 500 and 1000 rupee notes, accounting for 86% of cash in circulation.
Moving on, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Wednesday said that Pakistan is critical for the long-term stability of South Asia. He made the statement after he met in Hill talks with Pakistan's Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif in Washington.
US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Wednesday said that he believed the United States had a reliable partner in Pakistan. Tillerson met Pakistan's Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif and held talks at the State Department in Washington on Wednesday. Following talks, Tillerson told media that Pakistan was critical to the stability of South Asia and that United States President Donald Trump's administration sees an opportunity to strengthen relations.
We think there is opportunity for us to strengthen that relationship. We're going to be working very hard at all levels from the State Department to the Defense Department to our intelligence communities, as well as economic, commerce opportunities as well. So it really is a regional approach, and Pakistan is critical, I think, to the long-term stability of the region.
Tillerson said the United States was concerned about the future of Pakistan and wanted a stable government in the country. He re-emphasized the need to engage with Pakistan at all levels.
The human rights group Amnesty International has urged European nations to stop sending Afghans who do not qualify for asylum back to their home country. Amnesty termed such deportations illegal and claimed Afghanistan is unsafe for the asylum seekers as they were exposed to grave dangers.
Amnesty International called on the European Union to stop deporting Afghans, saying such returns were illegal as the poor security situation in Afghanistan exposed refugees and migrants to grave dangers. In a report looking into deportations, the international rights advocacy group said 9,460 Afghans were sent back in 2016 compared to 3,290 people the year before. The EU, however, has said the move is part of its strategy to curb immigration after mass influx in 2015 to 16.
No part of Afghanistan is safe to return to people. So we are actually therefore calling for a moratorium on returns until such a time as the country could be deemed safer.
The human rights group claimed extrajudicial killings, extortion, torture and denial of basic rights were widespread in Afghanistan.
I have never met people who are so scared as the people I met in Kabul. These people were scared of being randomly targeted in terrorist attacks or injured in these attacks. But they were also scared of being specifically targeted for who they are.
According to UN figures, at least 1,662 civilians were killed and 3,581 wounded in the first half of 2017 in indiscriminate attacks by anti-government forces in Afghanistan.
News from Bangladesh. Bangladesh has sought support from the United Nations to ensure the repatriation of Rohingyas who have fled to Bangladesh. Thousands of Rohingyas have fled following persecution in Myanmar's western Rakhine province.
Bangladeshi Foreign Minister A.H. Mahmood Ali sought support from the United Nations to ensure the repatriation of Rohingyas who have fled to Bangladesh from Myanmar. He met UN humanitarian chief Mar Lowcock and executive director of UNICEF Anthony Lake in Dhaka on Wednesday and conveyed the matter, a ministry press release said. He informed the UN officials that over 500,000 Rohingyas have entered Bangladesh in just 1 month. This comes days after the governments of Bangladesh and Myanmar agreed to come up with a plan to repatriate thousands of Rohingya refugees. The violence in Myanmar's Rakhine province last month has forced thousands of Rohingya Muslims to flee into Bangladesh and other countries. It began when Rohingya insurgents attacked security posts, triggering a military crackdown.
Moving on to news from Nepal. The task force formed to determine the electoral constituencies after 3 political parties formed alliance for the upcoming elections has been directed to complete the task within 3 days. On Tuesday, the CPN UML, CPN Maoist Center and Naya Shakti Party Nepal agreed to an electoral alliance that would unify other leftist and democratic forces that advocate for change. Meanwhile, Nepalese Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba's ruling party Nepali Congress joined forces with 5 parties including Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal for poll alliance. The provincial and federal parliament elections in Nepal are scheduled to be held on November 26 and December 7. Indian Power Minister Piyush Goyal on Thursday said the country's identity across the globe was changing and it was now being recognized as a technology-driven nation. Speaking at the India Economic Summit of the World Economic Forum in New Delhi, Goyal said that youth in India have moved beyond being just a job seeker, they were now becoming a job creator. Goyal, who recently took over as the railway minister, told reporters at the forum that the government will very soon float a global tender to procure tracks for modernizing the railway, which can create 1 million jobs within a year through various areas across its ecosystem.
Absorption, because that's what I've learned on this panel, is to absorb and then to emulate. Over the years, India was well known for its, maybe for its yoga or Ayurveda, cricket or Bollywood. The narrative is changing. Brand India is being built up across the world now. India is being now recognized as a country which is honest in its dealings. India is now being recognized as a country where technology drives growth.
Australian tourists visiting India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province were left spellbound by the region's pristine beauty and hospitality of the people. They sought lifting of the travel advisory issued by the country against some parts of the region.
A group of Australian tourists in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Thursday sought lifting of the travel advisory issued by their country against some parts of the province. Contrary to the advisory, they were mesmerized by the scenic beauty and warm hospitality towards them by the locals. They hope to spread the word about what they have witnessed and experienced in the region. Prominent author of travel books and Australian adventurer Gary Weir admitted to have been stumped by the friendliness of Kashmiri people.
And as you rightly say, the advisories have been downgraded. Unfortunately, in Australia and the UK, they've only been downgraded for us to visit Surinaga, and I'm just hoping that at some point that they will allow us to go to many other beautiful parts of the Kashmir Valley.
Australia issued a travel advisory in 2016 citing an increased threat of terrorist attacks to places in India frequented by Westerners. The beauty of Jammu and Kashmir province is known worldwide and it is considered as paradise on earth by visitors and the people living there. However, frequent militant attacks from across the border creating unrest in the valley has forced many foreign countries to issue travel advisories to their citizens.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.